Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
Rob Cameron, please tell us who you have on the phone this time.
Well, I'm very excited because I still love the game of cricket, not so much at the top level, but at local level it inspires me. It's a wonderful product, and the Geelong Cricket Club do a fantastic job at getting the very best of our young players to become the very best players they can be. And there is a new man coming to town to take control of that operation, and all cricket lovers in Geelong are very excited. Former English county player and decorated coach Nick Speak, good morning to you.
Good morning, Rob.
Great to have you aboard, and congratulations on choosing Geelong as the next place you want to take your coaching credentials. But let's find out a little bit about Nick Speak first. I would imagine, like all young English boys, loved the game of cricket, wanted to wear the three lions at some stage. Were you just always mad about the game?
I guess so, Rob. Yeah, growing up in Manchester through the 80s. I mean, that last song was my vintage, Cindy Lauper. You know, that's what we used to get around to. So, yeah, I mean, I came from a sporting family. My father was a cricketer and a very, very good lacrosse player until he passed away last year. But he was, I think, the most capped English lacrosse player ever. So, yeah, it was. Yeah, I had two siblings, a brother and a sister, and my brother was a non-sportsman and my sister was, so she was sort of my designated bowler out the back. And yeah, I mean, Manchester's a sporting town, very similar to Melbourne. So football and cricket was me.
Nick, it's Neil here. I have a brother who's 5 years older than me, and he used to open the batting for our club. And I ended up as a youngster being quite a good bowler because we were playing out in the sideway, and I would bowl and bowl and bowl and bowl and occasionally get him out, and then I'd pick up the bat and he'd bowl something at me, and I'd last like two deliveries. How was your sister as a right arm over? Was she pretty handy, was it, with the ball?
She's pretty patient. She's actually before her time. She tried to bowl. She used to try and bowl left and right-handed. She thought that was just what you should do.
Not at the same time, I trust. That makes it hard to choose which one to hit.
Well, yeah, that's right. No, it was, right some days, left the other. I mean, neither were that good, but I'm certainly indebted to her.
Got you started, though. So how did you, has it work over there for you to get into the Lancastrian system? Did you select it at school levels to start with?
I played no cricket at school, so I just went to a state school. There was two private schools in Manchester, Manchester Grammar, who produced some pretty good players. I grew up with Atherton, John Crawley. So they produced some really strong players. Willinghams, Grammar School was the other. But I played no cricket, so I was a club cricketer, not a school cricketer. I played Lancashire schoolboys through 13s, 15s, 17s. And yeah, I started playing. I stayed on at school really to do my A-levels, which is year 11 and 12 in your speak, primarily so I could play cricket. By that stage, I was getting some games in the second 11 at Lancashire, and I mean some amazing memories there. I think my second game was we played Glamorgan at Swansea, and I was 15, maybe just turned 16, and David Lloyd was my driver, and I was a navigator. I actually wrote an article about it 20 years later, and the David Lloyd, Bumble Lloyd. So you can imagine what sort of journey that was.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I might have to chew your ear during the cricket season and see if we can get a phone number for him. He is one of my all-time favourite cricketers.
It'd be the equivalent of us getting driven around by Kerry O'Keefe, I suspect.
Yes, very, very similar.
Yeah, he's a funny... I mean, yeah, he was my coach at Lancashire. He did 1 year before he got the England job. I think it might have been 89 or 90. And he drove us mad, completely mad. He changed from this, the Bumble we knew to this crazy... I mean, he was a great coach. He was a good coach and did a good job for England too. But, he's remained a friend right the way through. And his son was my roommate, basically, for 10 years, Graham Lloyd, at Lancashire.
Yeah, I can certainly say that all the great cricket storytellers, and there's many, many of them, my favourite story is David Lloyd reminiscing of his his meeting of Jeff Thompson at the Wacker at Perth is still the most memorable cricket story I have. A very funny man. So good company, and I guess he planted a real love of the game, as many other Lancastrians would have in you, and it sounds like you picked it up pretty quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bumble then was at the end of his career. He was basically finishing as captain in the second 11. But, yeah, Lancashire had obviously a steep history and still does. And I think growing up, the crop of players that I played with, Aberton, Lloyd, Austin, Hegg, Watkinson, Fairbrother, they were all local, Manchester, not just Manchester people, but Lancashire people. So, it was an amazing time, really. Cyril Washbrook awarded me my county cap. Clive Lloyd, I played my first-class game with Clive Hubert Lloyd. I mean, it's pretty crazy, really. That was in '86. He said something to me after that. I made 4 in the game, so it wasn't great. A great game for me, and I wasn't sure. I was 17. I wasn't sure whether I was ready for all that. And he said to me, "There's 3 words that you should remember through your career, making it." And I said, "Oh yeah, what are they, Clive?" And, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say anything. I thought I was shaking.
What are they, knackers?
I should have run with that, really. But he's a big man, the cat, So I didn't. And he said, "Well, they all begin with L." And it goes like this: look, listen, learn. And so I use that a lot in my coaching now. So 3 very poignant words.
Yeah, very, very simple stuff. So that's a very rich pedigree of characters around you to give you that real passion for the game. 177 times represented Lancashire in the first 11, if my research is correct. So that is a very distinguished career. You look back on it with great pride?
I do. I mean, you're about 150 out, but it was about 300 now. If you add in the list A games and the one-day games, it gets kind of 300 plus. But it was amazing. I played the last 5 years of my career at Durham, so I didn't play my whole time at Lancashire. I played 140 first-class games there and about 90 list A. But yeah, it was an amazing time. It really was. It was kind of before T20. We transitioned into 4-day cricket in '92. So for the first 5 years of my career, I played 3-day cricket. So 4 innings, 3-day cricket. So there was obviously a lot of rain in the UK. So there's a lot of contrived games. But yeah, I learned so much. I played with some great players. Wazim Akram was our overseas player for 10 years at Lancashire. I mean, amazing. Not just an amazing cricketer, but an amazing man. And obviously now you probably listen to him. His commentary is superb.
Yeah, he is good.
He would make a great coach too. He just chooses not to. But I see him quite a lot. He has a home here just near me in Brighton, in Melbourne. He remarried a girl from Brighton. Yeah, because he lost his first wife.
He and Imran Khan, above others, I think we looked upon Pakistan as a country so far away and so far removed from the culture that we know, not just around cricket but about life in general. But those two in particular, when they developed a media career, just showed how close we are as peoples across the world. And he's been very, very good for the world of cricket without doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he gives a perspective. And, I mean, I think you're right. We are very similar, but then we are very different. I guess the extremes of their culture is very different to us. I mean, Wazim certainly didn't practice the extremes. When he came to Manchester, he was almost more Western than we were. His father worked on the railways in Lahore, and he used to come in June every year because they were his holidays. And Waz was no good for 2 weeks because, of course, his dad came and he had to stop drinking, he had to stop smoking, he had to... He was no good. We said to his father, please come in September when the season's finished.
So before we get on to because we obviously want to talk about Geelong, I'm fascinated to know this because I have an answer to the question for me. Of all the bowlers that you have faced, if you had to go out at the peak of your power and they're at the peak of their power, who would you least like to see coming towards you from 20 metres away?
probably him, and thankfully, I never had to do that. I mean, he was, an amazing bowler. I think who I faced through that period, Marshall, I played against Malcolm Marshall when I was young, and he was towards the end of his career then, but he was an absolute nightmare. I mean, a trip from Manchester to Southampton where Hampshire played is 6 hours on the bus, and it's a long time to think about what he's going to do to you.
It gives you lots of time with the ice packs on the way home.
Well, Fairbrother said to me, he said, look, you've not played against him before. He said he runs in really quick from an angle run. He has no gather at the crease, so he just runs through. He said, you can't see it. He bowls out swing and in swing with the same action. He bowls a bouncer that you can see and a bouncer that's going to hit you, and he bowls a Yorker that's going to, so I said, well, what do you do? What do you do?
You just have faith in all that coaching that Bumble gave you that you're going to get through, I suppose.
Well, you know what Bumble would have said. He just said, just playing from the, non-strikers there.
Nick, was there ever any stage during your career where maybe you got a little tap on the shoulder from a selector or someone who might have been connected, or you were in a real purple patch where you thought the possibility of wearing the 3 lions was possible?
Yeah, 92 was a year that I guess I was involved. I was 12th man. I wasn't named 12th man, but I was in the squad for a test match against Pakistan at Old Trafford. And then really I needed to back up in 93, and I got married in 93, so it kind of went a bit south from there. But no, 93 I didn't probably play quite as well. And I guess I was close. I mean, Gooch, Lamb, Gatting, Gower, Smith were the 5 batters at that stage, Robin Smith. So I probably wasn't quite in that company.
Yeah, no, pretty handy players. So let's move forward. You've married an Australian girl, you said to me off air, which is a connection to our great country, but you've made that transition from player to coach, and clearly your record suggests you've done it really well, particularly the ability to get into the heads of younger people. When did you start the coaching thought process?
2008, I started at Melbourne. We came here in 2001. It is so funny. Michelle's parents are Dutch immigrants, and they came in the 50s after the war, the dairy farmers, and they got to Melbourne. Short story this, I promise. And Jerry, who's no longer with us, her father, had the choice to go to Colac or Leongatha. He had no idea where either were, and he chose Leongatha. So, Colac's kind of not too far from Geelong. Right?
Not too far at all.
The most beautiful girl in the world lives near Leongatha, so my daughter lives down there. Beautiful part of the world. And
it's amazing. I mean, I used to obviously come across and play in the 90s, and I'd live on the farm and play golf down there. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, she's in Meenian, so.
Yeah, Meenian's great. Yeah, right through there, Coomera, Meenian.
Yeah, lovely part of the world. So you've stepped off Old Trafford, you've stepped on to Gardenia Park. What does that look like for the good folks who are going to be under your tutelage at the Geelong Cricket Club?
I said to the people I spoke to, obviously I started speaking to Liam Buchanan in probably February. He knew I wasn't going to continue at Dandenong, and that was always the plan. I was going to be there 3 years actually, and I ended up doing 4. And I probably wasn't going to coach again, and then he presented this list, and they had a turnover of coaches through no fault of their own. Andre getting the job at Cricket Victoria, Leo stepping in, and then Tim. It's really difficult for him. Tim's obviously dedicated his adult life to professional cricket. So he's kind of I'll finish playing club cricket, but it's pretty hard to come back and do that. So, I mean, the list is good. You should have won obviously, you make 400 in the grand final, you're going to win. How many? 8, 9 out of 10, you should win that game. And that's how close we were 2 years ago. Last year was maybe just a bit of hangover from that. So, the list is young and talented. Kind of just the idea of being away from Melbourne. I coached at Melbourne and then at Dandenong. So I don't know too many of the young guys, so yeah, it's just going to be a challenge that I'm going to look forward to.
Well, it's a challenge that everyone in Geelong is looking forward to you taking on and doing well, and I mean that seriously. I think the Geelong Cricket Club is really starting now to get the prominence that it deserves. We've seen the Finch start things off, but now Eamon Vines and Tommy Jackson and Brodie Couch all getting a bit of a taste of cricket at the highest level. So I think the club itself is now looked upon a lot more favourably and with interest, and I think you're arriving just at a great time. So we thank you for your time. I look forward to talking to you again during the season, hopefully regularly. It's great to get to know you. I look forward to having a chat in the corner about Bumble and other things over a beer at some stage during the summer as well.
Well, yeah, and hopefully some wins as well, Rob. So, yeah.
Good on you, mate. All the very best. Welcome to Geelong.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.